Hello and welcome to the Adulting 101 video series. This particular one about career exploration is a guidance video. That means I'm going to keep this video to 15 minutes or less, but this is an interactive activity. You're going to be pausing after each slide and following through. So you should plan on probably an hour to an hour and a half because you're really going to be digging into a wide range of careers and which ones might be good for you and for what reasons. Today's an exploratory day, so that means if you already have an idea about a career you think you want to do or that other people think you should do, I want you to do your best to set that idea aside and say, I am here to be open to new ideas and find out something about myself. And maybe it'll confirm, maybe it'll adjust, or maybe it'll totally run up against what you've already been thinking about. So this is the career exploration set. This is part of the career preparation collection. Our key question today is, what are the questions I can be asking myself to find a meaningful career for my life? So I'm not trying to give you the answer, trying to help give you the questions, and we're looking for a career that would be meaningful for you. Big idea. Deciding what you want to be when you grow up is a lot of pressure, and today we're going to unpack different ways to think about that. One of the first ideas before we dig in is just how do we adjust our expectations? Historically, a lot of people have thought about career exploration as just picking one career for their whole life, but that's not actually how it happens. The average adult in the US switches their career 3 to 7 times over their adult life. Some people are just looking for a job, which is just a way to earn money that does not necessarily relate to their lifelong goals. Some people are looking for a career, an area of employment that is related to a long-term passion. And some people are looking for a vocation, which is a sense of calling to a particular field for their whole life. All of those are okay, right? So we're going to be looking at all 3 of those and options around that. For our conversation today, we're going to be framing our thinking around the Japanese concept of ikigai. So ikigai is an idea of finding a reason for being, And the idea is that we could find that by asking 4 questions. What do you love? What does the world need? What are you good at? And what can you get paid for? And it kind of fits together in this Venn diagram. So what do you love? What does the world need? What can you be paid for? And what are you good at? And so those are the 4 key questions we're going to be asking ourselves. And if we find something that overlaps in all 4, that's an ikigai. But there are other ways that things can overlap as well. All right, we're going to start by asking, what do you love? What you love. So if you have the notes packet, I want you to find this page. This is part 1, what you love. And I want you to take this survey, okay? So you're going to pause the video and take maybe 5 minutes and walk through and circle all your answers, okay? Go ahead and pause. All right, now you're going to compare that with the list of careers on the next page. So go ahead and look at what you circled, and based on what you circled, so of the different parts, classes at school, do you see any careers in those categories that you might connect with in terms of working with people versus information or working with your hands? Is there anything in there? I want you to choose 5. Look at the categories. Don't just go by your thoughts on what you already know about those jobs. Look at what you actually circled on your survey. Find that category. And I want you to find 5 that you think sound enjoyable, because we're just asking ourselves what you love right now. We're not asking whether they're realistic. We're not asking whether they earn money. We're just asking, do you love them? So based on what you love, circle 5 that you find enjoyable. Go ahead and pause until you're done. Okay, so before we move on, let's just look at the what you love category. If we can find something that you love that's also something you're good at, maybe that's a passion, something you keep in your life as a hobby. If we can find something you love that the world also needs, maybe that becomes your mission, something that you bring into your vocation or something that you do when you volunteer in the community. So we'll look at that as we go forward. Just a little preview. All right, we're moving on to the second question, which is what the world needs. So we're going to look at what the world needs. We're going to look at 9 categories of jobs that are projected to be in need in future years. As we go through them, I want you to write down at least 5 careers that you think you might be able to do. Maybe you do 1 per category. All right, so the first category is jobs that are in constant shortage. So these are careers that are consistently in need of employees. Is there anything on here that you say, yeah, I'd be interested in doing this? Maybe as a day job, maybe as a side hustle. Accountants, always in need. Secretaries, real estate appraisers, nurses, public relations agents, executives, food service workers, and criminal investigators. Unfortunately, crime persists, and so that's something that's always in need. So is there anything on this list that you would remotely be interested in? Jot it down. Next, one of the industries in most need is healthcare. Notably, healthcare is something that AI cannot do for us. Our population is aging and our bodies need maintenance and repair. So are there any careers here you could do? Nurses, doctors, gerontologists, home healthcare attendants, dental hygienists, and physical therapists. Those are the 6 that are most in demand for the future here. A good discussion question here. If you aren't into caring for the aging as a career, can you think of one way, excuse me, that you could volunteer to help care for the aging instead? Next, educational professors. Education was experiencing a dramatic teacher shortage before the pandemic and even more since. And again, education is not something that AI can do for us. So jobs that are in demand there: elementary teachers, secondary teachers, online teachers, substitute teachers, paraprofessionals, tutors, social workers, counselors, and administrators. Next category, mental health. Mental health support has always been a deep need in our society, but our society is really only opening up to getting that help in recent years. Is this a place where you might want to help? We could use counselors, therapists, psychologists, social workers, ministers, youth directors, teachers, and substance abuse counselors. Do any of those sound potentially interesting to you? Another category in need is the trades. One of the best areas of job security is the trades. And again, AI cannot do these things for us. So electricians, welders, carpenters, mechanics, HVAC technicians, home inspectors, plumbers, aircraft mechanics, miners, and construction workers. Is there anything in there that you might be interested in? A big category with big money is engineering. There are over a dozen different types of engineering, and they are among the most needed in terms of future professions. So we've got chemical engineers, civil engineers, biomedical engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, aerospace engineers, agricultural engineers, computer engineers, environmental engineers, health and safety, industrial, marine, materials, geological, nuclear, and petroleum. So they all involve a lot of math, right? But then they also have different types of science that they're working with. In terms of computers, the more we use technology, the more professionals we need to create, analyze, maintain, and protect it. So IT specialists, information security analysts are huge. Anyone who can help a company not get hacked. Software developers, programmers, cloud engineers, database administrators, and auditors. Another main category, languages and cultures. We live in an increasingly global society, and anyone who can speak multiple languages and navigate multiple cultures is doubly valuable to their employer. That is especially true for nurses, doctors, and physician's assistants, dentists and dental hygienists, counselors, therapists, psychologists, customer service representatives, hospitality clerks, managers, and servers, translators, interpreters, cultural liaisons, human resources and public relations agents, drivers, and flight attendants. Are there anything in there? And do you know another language? Could you get on that? The transportation industry. The pandemic has increased our awareness of supply chain issues, and we need transportation workers. So there are always a need for bus drivers, truck drivers, warehouse workers, postal carriers, and delivery drivers. All right, so now we've been looking at what the world needs. So if there's something that the world needs and you love it, that's a good mission for you, a way to volunteer in the community. If there's something the world needs and you can get paid for it, that might be a good vocation, a long-term career. So let's move into that next question. What can you be paid for? All right, we're going to look at 4 categories of jobs that earn more money than others. As we go through them, I want you to write down at least one job from each category that you think sounds interesting. So these are the top paying jobs you can get with a high school degree. So if you only had your GED, for example, you could be a chef, dental assistant, elevator installer, flight attendant, landscaper, mechanic, optician, personal trainer, pharmacy tech, police officer, real estate agent, or repair worker. Is there any one of those that you might be interested in doing right out of high school? Top paying jobs with a college degree. So you would need a 4-year degree for these. Generally, an accountant, actuary, computer scientist, economist, so all those have a lot of math in them. Engineering, also lots of math. Financial planner, also math. Human resources manager, that's more people skills. An IT specialist, computer skills. Managers, nurses, pharmacy techs, pilots, software developers, statisticians, and teachers. You guys, that's a lot of math in there. Top paying jobs with a graduate degree, being an actuary, a data analyst, a doctor, engineer, financial controller, investment banker, IT manager, lawyer, nurse anesthetist, nurse practitioner, pharmacist, physician's assistant, project manager, supply chain manager, surgeon, or teacher. And one other category, the top paying jobs with pensions. So pension means you might not make as much while you're working, but after you retire, you keep getting paid, which is a good deal. Bankers and brokers, firefighters, insurance workers, military service members, nurses, pilots, police officers, teachers, union electricians, union plumbers, and union plant laborers, plus almost any job if you do it for the government rather than for a private company. All right, let's move into our last category. What are you good at? Okay, this is going to be interactive. You're going to have to pause a lot, okay? Find this page that says part 4, what are you good at? And you're going to see a list of qualities that you might be good at. Step 1, take a photo of that list and text it to 5 people that you know well, friends, family, coaches, and ask them to write back with 3 skills that they see the most in you. Pause and go ahead and do that. Step 2, while you wait for them to respond, I want you to grab your paper, get up and walk around the room. Hopefully you're with some other people. Maybe you're at home, you can go find your family members. If you're in a class, go find at least 5 classmates, trade papers, and make a star next to 3 traits you see in that person as they do the same for you. Pause while you do that. Now I want you to do self-reflection. Come on back to your seat, and I want you to pick 3 traits that you see in yourself, whether they're obvious to your classmates or not, right? You know yourself very well. What are 3 things you think you're good at? Pause while you do that. Step 4, go check your phone. See what those other people said and add a star next to each trait that they saw in you. And if they overlap, put more than 1 star there. All right, then I want you to analyze it. Look at the traits and where do you see the most stars? Then based on those stars, I want you to look at the careers you picked for parts 1, 2, and 3 and analyze, do those traits interact with those professions? Is there anything coming out for you? Go ahead and pause while you take time to do that. Last thing, again, you're going to be pausing a lot. We're going to go back and look at this Venn diagram, and I want you to actually jot down some thoughts based on where they overlap, okay? So find this page. Let's start with passion. Was there something that you put down for what you love and it fits with something you are good at? Maybe that would be a good hobby or a passion to keep in your life. Pause while you reflect. Then, was there something that you love that the world needs? That might be something you do to volunteer in your community because that's your mission. Pause while you write that idea down. Is there something that the world needs and you can get paid for? That might be a good job, or it could be a side hustle, your vocation. Sorry, I went out of order, didn't I? Profession is what you're good at and what you can be paid for. Now what the world needs and what you can be paid for is a vocation. Pause while you write those down. Then, final question, was there something that came up in all 4 categories? If so, that's your ikigai. Write it down. If not, that's okay. Most people don't have an ikigai. Most people balance their life through a combination of their day job, their hobbies, and their volunteer work, and maybe a side hustle, and that's great. But if you have one that fits all of them, that's great. If this was helpful to you, here are some other topics available. This is part of the career preparation